Well, welcome back, robotic students. We're going to look at our code 2 that we created for our previous assignment, and we are going to improve upon it so that instead of reading the code in a straight line, our robot will loop through and allow us to run this code multiple times. So first of all, I forgot to say congratulations. If you're watching this, you have hopefully programmed your bot so each touch sensor or switch will activate a sequence in your robot. So one switch, if we look at my code here, is going to start my motors. It's going to drive the bot forward for 5 seconds. It's going to stop the motors for 2.5 seconds. The motors are going to start up in reverse for 5 and then stop. And once that's done, because this is a linear sequence, then we're going to hit the opposite switch, in this case the left switch, which is going to cause my bot to do donuts. One motor is spinning forward, one motor is spinning backwards for 3 seconds, then it's going to stop. And now again, it's a linear sequence, so when it gets to the stop command down here, my bot isn't going to do anything until I power the cortex down and then power the cortex back up. So what we want to do now is we want to take this code that we've got and we want to add a couple of lines in here to turn it from a straight linear sequence of code into a loop that can run infinitely. Right? And that line of code is called an infinite while loop. So what we're going to say is while one condition, and we get to decide what that condition is always true, right, the robot should do the following lines of code. And so we're going to start off by just adding one line of code in here. I'm going to go ahead and just type it out, the word while. Right, and now I'm going to give it my condition that's always true. And the condition we use in robot C here is while 1, and I'm going to hit the space bar, then equals space 1, right, do the following things. Right, so once we've got that while line in our code, right, you'll notice I didn't put a semicolon there. I'm going to go down to my next line and I'm going to do an opening curly brace. And anything that's between my opening and closing curly brace is going to take place while 1 equals 1. Right? And hopefully, right, unless there's some major change in mathematic rules, 1 is always going to equal 1 for the purposes of our robotics class. So I've scrolled down. I'm right below that last line where I tell the motors to stop. I'm going to hit the shift key and put in a second curly brace. And so everything between this opening and this closing brace are going to be taking place while 1 equals 1. And now for checking this program out, let's go ahead first of all, before we do any evaluation, and save it. I'm going to go File, Save As, and you guessed it, I'm going to call this program number 3. I've already got a 3. I'm going to just replace it. Then I'm going to click this Fix Formatting button. What Fix Formatting does is it takes and it puts each curly brace in line with its closing curly brace below. And so it just kind of tabs our program over, makes it a little easier to look at. And if I have an unequal number of opening and closing curly braces, that'll become evident down at the bottom here, because I'll have one line where there's a blank spot, probably the last line of code. So now that I've formatted it, I'm going to compile my program. I compiled it and I can breathe a sigh of relief. I don't have any errors down at the bottom here. So I'm going to just click the Save button to update what I've got on my program here. Right now at this point, you can plug the orange cord into the computer in your bot. You're going to download this to your robot. You'll bring your code to me and we'll test it out. We should be able to continually click the right switch, then the left switch, then the right switch, then the left switch, and do that an infinite number of times without having to power cycle your robot to start that sequence again. So good luck coding, and I look forward to seeing the finished product here at the due date in class.